Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here today. This is your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency analysis, among other things. Now, hey, we're taking a look at Theta. Now, I've gotten a lot of requests from my community. We reviewed this in my live chat as well, my coin chats yesterday, and I think there's a lot of potential here. It's obviously doing very well today, so let's go ahead and see what's going on. We'll take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum as well to kind of get a baseline on the market. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. You should always do your own research. I have years of trading experience, and my goal is to help you make an informed decision and be a much more, well-versed trader, so you can trade for a lifetime instead of just for one day. Now, we'll have signal groups moving forward for my community. That's going to be available through my Patreon account. That'll be a premium Patreon subscription if you'd like to consider that. I'll have that rolled out within about a week or two. I'm also doing live streams now. Kicked off the first one yesterday with some slight technical difficulties, so thank you all for enduring that. I believe I've fixed my microphone issues for the most part. Um, we'll see how that works out. I'm still figuring it out, but thank you so much again for your patience on this. I have $25 in Bitcoin available from Voyager application, link in the description below. Also, link to my Telegram community and Discord channels if you'd like to get engaged there and learn as much as you can. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get right to it. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at Theta. Now, just before we do, we always take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first, just to analyze how the market is doing so we understand the big picture. Take a look at that here. And by the way, I use TradingView. This is the TradingView desktop application. And now this is Bitcoin, the 4-hour chart on Bitcoin. I have the 200 simple moving average enabled here. That's the purple line, as well as a 50-day moving average here as well. That is the yellow line. Just to kind of get closer here, you can see that the price action has pretty much gone sideways over the last 24 hours since the Elon candle number 2 and the China candle number 2. Much smaller, fortunately, but that did occur here recently that kind of rejected those potential increase towards 40,000. The price action right now is somewhere between 42 and 30,000. Resistance at 42,000. There's another at about 40,000. A major support at 30,000. And the 200-day moving average isn't relevant right now, but it will be perhaps in the next couple of weeks. So let's pay attention to how that responds. Forward. Let's look at, excuse me, let's look at Ethereum next here. Now, Ethereum, this is the 4-hour chart as well. We have a major resistance level at 2,900 and the support on the 50-day moving average right now. As you can kind of see, Ethereum is performing overall better than Bitcoin because the price isn't reaching lower lows. Most recent price action actually corrected itself and worked right above the support level of the 50-day moving. See, we're kind of progressing up to the $2,900 range, hopefully to test and surpass that, because that has been tested and rejected about 10 times now. I feel as if it's ready to explode and blast right through those arches there. So pay attention to that. Doesn't mean we're out of the woodwork yet, because of course, Bitcoin does essentially drive the price action somewhat. So just pay attention to how Bitcoin's doing. But more importantly, we have the 200-day moving average at about 3,050. This guy here. That would be the next major milestone after it breaks resistance here of 2,100. Now let's look at Theta. This is an interesting one. And had some pretty good price action here recently, and the price is ramping up today. So just to quickly note before we go into that, I like to look at the one-day chart so we can see the big picture, work our way down. Now when it comes to the big picture here for Theta, it did fantastically well. So Theta was up in the range of 11 to 14, so its average true range should be between 11 and 14, whereas the price action is close to around $10 right now. Should expect to see some type of price increase. We'll likely see a test its most recent resistance of about 1050. Probably should expect to see that here soon, but the 200-day moving average is working as a support level, and the 50 is likely going to become a support as long as we can hold and get this to close above. So if today's trading closes above what $30, we'll be in good shape to have that support level moving forward. Our size pretty low, all things considered, so still got plenty of room for 4-hour chart. Very similar scenario. Obviously, things are a little bit higher because it's a shorter time frame, but the RSI is still under 70, which is fantastic, even with this recent run here. If you can see the previous run, it increased and lost significant momentum. I believe that was because of the China candle. That makes sense, but you see how well it recovered? It recovered a lot better than Bitcoin did. That goes to show that Theta is moving kind of more so on its own. Obviously, all altcoins are reliant on Bitcoin to an extent, but bottom line here is that the price movement in the past week or two has been significantly better than Bitcoin, basically just drawing dead. That tells me there's really good fundamentals in Theta. And obviously, do your own research. We did cover this in my chats yesterday for my live stream, and Theta's doing fantastic. I think it's got really good potential. T-Fuel as well. That one's doing obviously it's the gas for. So that being said, that's kind of what we're looking at here. Just to note, the 200-day moving average is working as a strong support level. If price were to return and come back down, it may only come down as low as 50, 75. 50-day moving average is moving on up. So this is what we refer to as a golden cross. When the actual 50-day moving average intersects with a 200 in an upward fashion, similar to what a MACD would do to tell us it's a buy. Now it's kind of a little late because obviously the price is already up, but these are very positive indicators. Looking at the 15-minute chart, I like to look at the 15 just to kind of help identify entry points and kind of see what's going on. I get my best confirmation from the 15-minute chart because I wait for two 15-minute bars usually to close or to take it. So you have to be a patient trader to do that. Not everyone can do that. It's okay, but that's more my trading style. But if we're looking here at the 15, just to quickly note, I'm going to remove moving averages because they're less relevant on shorter time frames. The simple moving averages are better, 1 hour chart or higher. Whereas under 1 hour, preferably 15 minutes or lower, I'm going to utilize the volume weighted average price and the. So if you're new to the channel, the VWAP line is essentially just a volume weighted average price. That's a blue line here. And it has a standard deviation high and low. Anything that ever comes above that standard deviation typically gets rejected and retraces, as you can see here, also here. So we're probably going to see a retracement come back down, somewhere in the range of like 980 to 9. But the reason why the VWAP is helpful is because it takes the average volume of the last 24 hours and expresses it as a price. And when there's a deviation too far away from that, that's when we see a retracement, either down or up, depending on which side it's on. Same thing can occur here as well on a bearish trend. As you can see, it came too low, had to come back up. But the VWAP is essentially my best friend. I like it. I think it's the bee's knees, right, if you will. It's essentially the best option that you can utilize for a time frame, again, under 15 minutes. So most folks will use this, and I as well, on the 1 minute chart if you're planning to take entry on a closer, tinier time frame. But I like to look at the 15 to get that confirmation, just to make sure I'm on the right track, and then look at the 1 minute chart to identify a good entry point. Furthermore, just to clarify, the EMA line is this red line here. This is essentially an EMA 15. Most of the industry standards are going to use 9 and 20. Use the 15 because it just works. It's a blended average of the two, and it's just one indicator. So I like to have less noise and just more charts, so to speak, instead of crazy chaos. Because honestly, you want to keep it simple. Too many charts, they're going to have a lot of conflicting information, and you need to make a good indication signal on 1, 2, maybe 3. I prefer the VWAP, EMA 15, and of course the RSI. Those are my 3 favorites to be paired together. But basically what I'm getting at here is the EMA is an exponential moving average. It works similar to the MACD. The MACD is basically a 12 and a 26 moving together. And when it converges on an upward fashion, it's a signal of a buy, right? You want to buy it. Now, it doesn't work on all time frames, of course, but that's a general concept. And the EMA is essentially the same thing. It's just working on the price action itself. So as we can see, it's working as a constant support. It's telling us there's a bullish trend here. So it's consistently working up. You see these higher highs, higher lows. It's a very, very good sign. This means there's a bullish trend. Obviously, it's doing well. Just bear in mind, too, with the price action coming up above the actual standard deviation lines. As you can see, look at it retracing now on about 980. No surprise there. It's pretty standard for the VWAP lines. 1 minute chart, effectively a very similar scenario. As we can see here, this is when the deviation gets too high, it comes back down. Same thing occurs as well. So a lot of times in cryptocurrency, patterns repeat themselves. There's a good likelihood of if you saw this here and it comes down and comes back up, there's a chance this might try to ramp up for second push, come back down. And one thing I forgot to do, let's just go ahead and see if we can mark any type of support and resistance levels just before we look at that, because we want to be mindful Why don't we should probably just mark this here because that was the most recent high. Because the most recent highs are typically the most relevant. Taking an all-time high of years ago sometimes doesn't always work very well. More recent highs are more effective. So I choose to pick that one here. So 1048, roughly to say 1050, is the major resistance that we just want to be mindful of. I don't think we're anywhere close to that yet. See here, the price is retracing back down. No surprise. So just a matter of how low it will go. So for me personally, I mean, my prediction here is that Theta will hit 1050 in the next couple of days. Will it do that today? It's hard to say. It has to consolidate to an extent because anytime we see a very strong bull run, like it has done so far, it has to be a period of consolidation. Now it hasn't. It's had some period of consolidation. Don't get me wrong. These are like 1 to 2 hour segments here where it goes sideways. But I would venture to guess we're going to need to see maybe 2 or 3 hours, if not longer, worth of consolidation before it tries to push back up again, because it is extremely overbought at this point. Um, I do I do personally feel that it would be kind of a gamble to invest in Theta right now. But again, big picture, keep this in mind. Again, depends on your trading style, right? Because if you look at the history of Theta, its average true range, again, as I mentioned before, is 11 to 14. Price should be in this range here. The only reason why it's down low is because Bitcoin, coin sell off, and had some pretty major sell-offs. But Theta's done very well inversely, see with Bitcoin. Just be mindful of that. I do feel like it will test that and likely exceed the $10.50 range. But will we see that today? Maybe not, just based on its recent ramp up. But again, that's could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, honestly, because then it would continue to increase and all our current positions will do better. But the key takeaway here is to keep in mind, see if it's making higher highs. Let's look at the 15-minute. We can keep making higher highs, be in really good shape. This retracement is significantly larger than some in the past, so I'm just a little concerned with that. But if we can get this to go sideways for just say 3 to 4, maybe 5 hours, shoot up again, be in pretty good shape. Just wait to take entry until you see the VWAP line either get tested or the EMA line tested, right? Because again, obviously the price is well above EMA. It's kind of a good sign, but it's pretty high. And if we look here at this, it's under EMA on the 1. You gotta wait until the price action stays above the EMA on the 1 minute chart before you consider taking. Again, look at the 15-minute for perspective. More of a short-term swing trader, you're looking for something you're going to hold on for 2. Then the 15-minute would probably be the best entry point for you. Just kind of make sure you get that true confirmation, waiting no less than 30 minutes. But if you're looking at kind of a short-term day trade, so to speak, something less than 24 hours, use the 1 minute chart and make sure to pay attention to the price action. Yes, the price is above VWAP. That's great. That's check number 1. We need to make sure the price action is above EMA. Check number 2. You can see here, anytime it drops below EMA, it works bearishly until it consolidates, and then it becomes bullish. All right, so hope you found benefit from this. If you do, like and subscribe. Also note, I'm going to have a signal group in the next week or 2. I'm ironing out the kinks right now, but that will provide you with good signals. That's going to be part of my premium Patreon membership. Linked in the description below for that. Furthermore, I'm also doing live streams now on the weekends. They're referred to as coin chats, so we just go ahead and get together and do live technical analysis you request. And right, so I'm trying to find good times to make that work. I will likely try to progress and do that during the weekdays as well. Just depends on my time frame. So if this continues to do well overall with the channel and all the growth and all of your support, then I will make that a full-time gig. Be doing that pretty much Monday through Sunday, at least Monday through Friday, every single day, if possible. But I appreciate you all. You're all so awesome and fantastic. Great group of subscribers. Thanks again for being part of my community. Feel free to jump in my Telegram if you haven't already. I want to wish you a fantastic and awesome